For any of you new attendees, Stephen Dolan is our senior solution engineer at TurnKey Lender and brings a unique perspective to our conversation today, all around customer experience. Stephen, if you don't mind, what's a new addition to your family in the past 4 months that you would share with us, if you don't mind?
Sure. Yeah. So my first son was born just about 4 months ago today. So things are busy around the house. Never a dull moment. That's for sure.
Congratulations. That's awesome. So, as you're kind of building this family out and you have this addition, I can remember you sharing some experiences with me where, in the past year, you bought a house, you got this really cool, well-known EV, electric vehicle. Tell us a little bit about those experiences from your perspective, the actual end user.
Sure. Yeah. So obviously a lot changed for everybody this year in 2020 with COVID. Mm-hmm. And it's been an eventful year for me. I would consider myself kind of on the older end of the millennial spectrum. So people my age are buying their first homes, having children, buying vehicles. And so at the beginning of the year, my wife and I bought our first house. It was actually right at the start of COVID. We had our closing meeting was on, I think, March 18th.
Oh, wow.
And we had a busy schedule. Obviously, there was a lot up in the air about whether we could go into a bank or that kind of thing. And so I had a really great experience purchasing my home.
Was that like the mortgage experience, qualifying for the mortgage?
Yeah, it was a little bit of both. Qualifying for the mortgage was very simple. I worked with a large bank that I currently do business with, and so they already had all of my bank statement details. They knew me as a customer, and it was a really simple online application process to go in and get pre-qualified. I was thinking back with my wife, and we didn't go and actually physically visit a branch location until the closing meeting. Yep. So everything was done electronically. Obviously, there are a lot of documents that have to go back and forth between a customer and a lender. And it was really easy for me to go into that customer portal and see what documents I needed to include in kind of a checklist format. So it was easy to keep track of for me.
Yep. And I think you and I traveled to Utah right before COVID. We went to see one of our clients there, and you were telling me that you were on a ski lift skiing. I'm jealous, and filling out loan application for your mortgage. So, firsthand experience of doing it when you wanted to do it, how you wanted to do it. That's awesome.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. It was, and that was actually right around the closing time. So we were able to sign all the documents, review everything straight from my phone, and get the mortgage taken care of.
Very cool. So, I like to pick on customer experience because, the better the customer experience, the better the conversion rate for the business, right? So we could pick on mortgage. Mortgage is a very commoditized like product, right? If you had an experience where that could have been difficult, if you didn't have a good banking relationship, you'd have probably gone to the place that gave you the best customer experience in the least amount of energy, effort, and time. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everybody's chasing lower interest rates and lower costs, but at the same time, it comes down to a lot of the customer experience aspect. We're all busy. We all have a lot of plates that are spinning. And so being able to quickly and efficiently get all of that documentation processed was huge.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So then, a couple of weeks ago, you showed up in my driveway in this fancy EV. Tell me about that experience. What was that like?
Sure. So that was a little bit different. I used a local credit union, a third-party finance operation. And while it was somewhat simple in that I was able to fill out an online application and get kind of a pre-qualification letter, there was a lot of back and forth with that lender. I had to drive out to their location several times. Obviously, with COVID, I couldn't go into a branch and meet with somebody face-to-face.
Mm-hmm.
So there were a lot of phone contacts. There were a lot of visits to the teller lanes where I could send documents up the tube because their systems just weren't set up to handle electronic signatures and the likes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But you were kind of heart set on the EV, so you were bound and determined to go through whatever experience necessary in order to finance that vehicle.
Yeah,
correct?
I would say that. Yeah.
Yeah. But here, hopefully, maybe in the near future, we have more than a few EV offerings, so maybe that becomes a commoditized product and customer experience is critical.
Yeah, agreed.
Gotcha. So family's expanding. You have this wonderful son, 4 months old today. Congratulations. We've got COVID and we've got an immune system that's getting better and better, stronger and stronger, and you're busy, right? So what type of online shopping do you do, and what type of experiences do you enjoy and not enjoy?
Sure. Well, the easy ones are obviously Amazon. It's tough to beat that kind of experience. They're integrated with everything that we do these days, so it's nice to be able to shop with them. They do a great job with that. And just some other, like when I go to a pharmacy and need to pick up something last minute, I really like the experience that things like Apple Pay offer, where instead of having to touch a physical PIN pad and enter in my phone number or take a credit card out and put that through, I can simply pay with my phone or pay with my watch, and it fills out all of the contact details, billing information, shipping details, both online. So if I'm shopping for something on my phone, I can bypass several steps, or if I have to go into a storefront and do so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I was looking at, has you guys invested in any kind of home equipment for exercise, for any of that sort of thing?
We haven't. We probably should. I think all the baby weights come on to me.
That's awesome. So I'm thinking that in my shopping experience, if I'm smart, I have my wife tell me, yes, we can buy that or not. And if I'm not, I'll buy it. And then I'm like, I have buyer's remorse, right? But there's a couple of seconds where there's an emotional decision to buy is at its highest peak, right? Where that conversion is higher, the better your customer experience, the less barrier to entry, the less barrier to purchase, the more the opportunity is that we have that conversion, right?
Absolutely.
So, I think that's really important for businesses to consider, right? If you want to have higher conversion rate, you really have to measure the amount of energy a client has to put in to do business with you. And, I appreciate you sharing your mortgage experience. 3 months ago, my twin boys went in to get bank accounts at a very well-known bank. And that experience was a month to book the appointment, a month. And then it was 2 hours sitting in a booth with a guy that had this partition in front of us. That was just a super painful process. Had I researched it or found somebody that may have had the opportunity to do some online deposit opening accounts, it would have fit much better into our lifestyle and bringing efficiency to the world. And the reason we had to wait so long is because my boys have a busy weekend schedule with their activities. So we had to find a weekend that fit, think about it a month in advance, and then allot the time to go in and physically do that.
Yeah. It goes so far beyond lending, just the general digital banking experience. A lot of the big traditional players are having trouble keeping up with some of the newer online neobanks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's where it is. I mean, you nailed it. Amazon is so integrated with our lives today. It's what we expect, right? And if you can't keep and capture their energy and their attention right then and there, good luck.
Absolutely.
Yep. So so in your experiences as senior solution engineer at TurnKey Lender, what kind of interesting stuff have you seen our company working on from a customer experience lately?
Sure. So one of the things that I see is being able to do more with less, or with less customer interaction. So using providers to automatically pull in bank statements or electronically signed documents, not having to go and request paper copies or download 10 different documents and then uploading them. Being able to do instant decisioning based off of some of that criteria without having to have a borrower go through 10 different steps to get approved. So we've seen a lot of traction in those use cases. And if we look especially at the e-commerce space or the retail space, as a general banking trend, personal balance sheets are in the best shape they've ever been in. People that have money are holding money, and they're being more careful about what they're spending. And so working with retailers to be able to offer some of that point of sale financing in an easy way, where they can simply apply for a loan application for this product without having to go out and make a big capital expenditure is a huge benefit.
Yep. I like it that like with Amazon, like my credit card information's already there. And for Christmas shopping, it's the best, right? If I'm consistently buying for my family over and over and over, the address is already there, right? Somebody thought that to increase Jeff Ward's experience, I'm going to save addresses that he may ship to again this year, next year, the following year. So it's simply click of the button. And it's really bringing some really cool efficiency to the table. We're not even talking about the relationship between the organization and the client. That's a huge factor to consider as well. But we're simply talking about the customer experience, the amount of time it takes for a customer to find the product they need, request to borrow funds for that product to approval.
Exactly. And as you said, some markets are very niche right now, but for those commoditized markets, they're going to go to a place that has the best customer experience, even if they have to pay a little bit extra for it.
Because their friends are talking about it, right? It's been social proofed. I bet that's what you told me when we were in the Uber ride going to our client. You're like, hey man, this weekend I applied for a mortgage on a chairlift on a mountain in Colorado. That's crazy, right? I mean, that's really cool.
And that's where the technology is going, though. We have the power now to do it. It's just a matter of setting it up in the right way.
Yep, exactly. So any thoughts, any advice that you would give other leaders or other people that are wanting to get into this space from your perspective, from your experience, from you being a father? Is there any advice you would give to our audience today?
Everybody's busy. It doesn't matter if you've got a 4-month-old at home or you're an empty nester. Everybody's busy. Everybody's looking for a way to be able to do business through a phone or through a computer without having to go and meet with somebody face to face. And so the more user-friendly customer experience you can provide and fast decisioning, the better.
Fantastic. Well, Mr. Dolan, it's always a privilege and an honor to have you. Greatly appreciate your time. To any of our audience today, if you have any questions of TurnKey Lender, of Mr. Dolan, as we would in the Matrix, please feel free to reach out. We're here to serve. Thank you for your time. Stephen, thank you for your time, sir.